What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Criterion Corner. This is the segment on my channel where I choose films from the Criterion Collection or that are currently streaming on the Criterion channel and talk about them in great detail. And I'm very excited about the film I'm going to be discussing with you today because this movie has been recommended to me multiple times. I've seen it on some lists of greatest psychological thrillers ever made. And the premise of the movie just sounded really interesting to me. And I love mystery suspense thrillers. And so the film I want to be discussing with you today is The Vanishing. The Vanishing is directed by George Sluizer. Rex and Saskia are enjoying a biking holiday in France when stopping at a gas station, Saskia disappears. So I was very excited to watch this movie. Didn't know a whole lot about it other than it was a mystery suspense thriller. And this movie is absolutely incredible. It's haunting, it's devastating, and it truly is one of the best psychological thriller and mystery films I've ever seen. And I'm really excited to tell you about it today. So at the beginning of the film, we're introduced to Rex and Saskia, who in the plot description, they are on a trip going cycling, and they're very excited to go on this trip together. And we get a little bit of insight into their relationship early on when a problem happens with their car. The two of them kind of get into an argument and they get back in the car together and they seem to work it out. And so we can see there's some level of tension in their relationship, but they also seem to really love each other. And so they get to this gas station and Saskia says, "Hey, I'm going to go inside and use the restroom and get something for us to drink." And Rex says, "That's fine. I'll see you when you get out here." And so he's sitting outside and some time passes and she does not come out of the gas station. And he goes in to look for her, can't find her, but he goes back to the car and eventually hours go by and he realizes that she has not come back. And so he goes to the owner of the gas station and says he wants to file a police report. And the man says, "Hey, nothing has happened so far. There's nothing that we can do until some more time passes." And so after that, we hard cut to this man in his car putting a fake cast on. And that character is Raymond. And we learn a little bit more about Raymond. And he lives at home with his family. They live in a house, but they're also currently renovating another house that they all want to eventually live at. And we see Raymond is planning on a kidnapping. He's testing chloroform out on himself. He's doing all of these really wild things. And we learn that he is a sociopath and he is a lunatic, but he lives this life where everyone thinks he's completely normal. And so we jump forward to 3 years in the future, and Rex is still searching for Saskia. He is heartbroken that she's disappeared. He has started dating someone else, but he can't get her out of his head. And the entire film is him trying to track down who kidnapped or murdered his partner, and then also seeing Raymond, who it is implied early on probably did it, and trying to see if the two of these characters ever cross paths. So I was really excited to watch this movie, as I said, and it was remarkable. For starters, the performances in this film are absolutely exceptional. The lead actor that plays Rex does such an amazing job at conveying this obsession and this want and need to know what happened to his partner. He is devastated and living his life like in one moment she was here and in the next moment she was gone. And he's trying to move on and live a life, but it's impossible when you have someone in your life for so long and they just disappear in a flash. And I think the reality of his situation really shows in the way he delivers dialogue and in moments where he just gets really intense emotions and can't control himself anymore. He does really a phenomenal job at just playing that character who's been through so much. On the inverse, the actor who plays Raymond is phenomenal at putting on this face around his family, acting like the family man who cares about his wife. But what's really interesting is in the moments where he could slip up or his wife is seeing that he's gone for long periods of times or things like that, he never lets it show on his face. He never breaks. It's like he has this idea of what he wants to accomplish and he knows how he has to go about accomplishing it, and he never kind of strays away from this thing that he really wants to do. The cinematography in this is so fantastic, especially thinking about early on the way that so many sequences sequences with our lead characters at the gas station are shot very wide, and even later on in the movie, when Rex is looking for Saskia and he's getting these letters from the person in the mail saying, "Meet me here," and they never show up in these places, the camera is always wide so that we as an audience can be looking around at the scenarios and the settings to see if there's anyone in the frame that we could possibly think is that person. And what's so different about this movie than other films is there's a mystery there, sort of who committed this crime, but there's also like this cold, calculated realness to it that is very uncomfortable, especially when it comes to Raymond's character. Like when he's doing these horrible things, it's not like there's menacing music playing. It's like it's occurring in front of you in real time, and there's something so disturbing about that because that's how it would be in real life. It's not like there's going to be swelling music or things to manipulate you as a viewer. You're just going to see these horribly heinous things, and just how devoid of any sort of emotion or feeling towards other people that he seems to have. But he's able to fake this emotion around his family, and it's genuinely horrifying because it makes you sit back as a viewer and think, could I know someone like this? Or could I be around someone in my day to day life that is completely devoid of empathy or compassion towards other people, that would be capable of committing such a horrible atrocity? And I love how the movie really keeps you on the edge of your seat up until the very end. In the third act of this movie, my jaw was on the floor. I honestly did not expect it to go the way that it was going to go. And it's really impressive that the director has the level of restraint that he does up until the very end. And I think that's what makes the movie so effective. And it's not like this movie is the most fast paced, energetic, like, keep you on the edge of your seat type of thriller. It's like presenting you the information in various periods of time from the initial incident to 3 years later. But there's something about the framing of the shots and the performances that keep you locked into the screen for this hour and 35, hour and 40-minute movie. And I was never bored once. I was just completely and totally hooked to what was going on screen. And I think because of the contrast in the performances from our two lead characters, it creates a really interesting story for you psychologically, where you're seeing two people that have very different ideas of what they're trying to accomplish in mind, but how they're both kind of tortured by those things, or how they're both driven by those things. One is their just sociopathy, and the other one is their intense obsession, to where, like, would you in that situation, if you lost someone, be equally as obsessed? And I think a lot of us would be, especially when you love someone so dearly, and like to just not know would be so difficult. And I think the realism of that in Rex's character makes the movie such an easy watch. And this film will not leave my mind for a long time. I am haunted by it. I think it's absolutely incredible. And it's one of my favorite films I've watched in the Criterion collection. I think if you're a fan of psychological thriller or crime thrillers, you 100% need to watch this movie. So have you seen The Vanishing? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was incredible. I'm still haunted by it. Since I watched it, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it, and I 100% think it's worth your time checking out. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.